In this battle, we are taking on anti-Karana, and as you can see, we are using the Rorian Legacy team because I am currently playing Rorian Legacy. I actually did want to start investing in my new team on Project Space Unbound. However, that game really hasn't been up consistently in a long time, and I need to upload content, which is why I'm back in Rorian Legacy. So really the only change here to the team is I'm going to be running Mega Manetric because I really like the Mega and the concept of what it does, and I did want to try it out for a bit. Now of course this is not going to be an official change. Really I just wanted to swap out like a couple Pokemon just to have a bit of fun and see how it would actually function with this team. And I just replaced Magnezone with Sizer, so we won't be able to trap in Steel types. However, we're going to have a bit of a better matchup against some of the other Pokemon in this tier, which is why I think it will be interesting to try out. So anyways, when we start off, he actually leads with his Miraidon. And this right here, I could go for a hidden pulverize. However, I really don't think it's worth having to stay in on a Draco Meteor or whatever this guy has to throw out. So I'm going to go for a wall switch just to get a bit of chip damage instead of just going for a hard switch. So we do get our Mega Manetric off, and that's actually going to be really nice because we do have Intimidate, and Manetric is one of those few Pokemon that actually has a great pre-Mega Evolution ability in Lightning Rod. So in case I ever saw like an electric type and I wanted to switch in on their electric type attacks, I could use Manetric for that, and then I'll also get a special attack boost. So you know, it would be an interesting Pokemon to try out for those types of circumstances. So anyways, here on the Miraidon, it is tempting to go into Glasgow because of its ground typing. However, I was thinking he may want to go for like a Dragon type attack since he can't really hit me with his electric type attack, especially because I could just stay in my pre-Mega Evolution form and use Lightning Rod to absorb his attack. So anyways, here I decide to go for an Earth Hover, and he actually goes for a double on the Mirror Coat, which is too bad. It's actually going to take out our Heatran to no one's surprise. But now I'm going to bring in the Manetric, and I'm going to hit him with a hidden Pulver Ice just to finish the job. I mean, I think it was a pretty good trade. I probably should have expected the Mirror Coat, but you know, it's alright because you know, we took out the Miraidon, which is technically the second best Uber right now in Scarlet and Violet Ubers. I think just behind Koraidon. So you know, taking that out will probably take us a long way. So anyways, now we're gonna have to see what else he has for this Manetric, and he goes into his Zygarde. So I get a bit greedy here. I want to just go for the hidden Power Ice and just see how much damage it'll actually do to a legendary Pokemon with a 4 times weakness. So it's actually almost a KO, just shy of it unfortunately. But the good thing is he wastes his turn going for a Camouflage, so that's, you know, perfectly fine. Although this guy actually reveals that he has Power Construct on this Zygarde, and he also gets the Sawsbuck Coffee Boost. So there is no way we're going to be able to take care of this Zygarde now. So he reverts into his complete form, and that's definitely not a good thing for us because, you know, he's probably going to be able to do some big damage. So anyways, I go into Glasgow. I'm thinking he may go for the Earthquake now, and if he doesn't have Earthquake, if he goes for Outrage instead, it still should be fine because Glasgow should be able to eat one up, and then I can go into Tapu Fini and force him out. But it turns out he actually decides to switch into his Tapu Koko here. Not entirely sure why, but you know, that's fine. I guess he might have been expecting another hidden Power Ice, although after that Camouflage he would have been perfectly fine. So I don't know what that was all about, but you know, it's alright. So anyways, now I'm going to go for the Swords Dance, and he actually ends up going for Fly, which is great because this is definitely a waste of this guy's turn. And it's going to give me a nice special, or it's going to be a nice attack boost, and in case he decides to switch now, he's going to have to potentially eat up a +4 attack from this Glasgow right here, which still isn't, you know, crazy because Glasgow doesn't hit too hard, but you know, with the Swords Dance boost it will start hitting hard enough. So I'm going to go for another round as he goes for a Nature's Madness, which is probably what he should have started with, because with Nature's Madness and Dazzling Gleam he probably would have been able to, you know, dispatch this Glasgow if he was effective with it. But the good thing is he isn't. So now I decide to go for a Roost, and the good thing is he goes for a Dazzling Gleam, so he wastes another turn, and this roost is going to ensure that I'm going to be able to be healthy on whatever he has to bring in next on this glass core. So I'm trying to maximize the amount of damage I do against this guy, especially now that I'm at +6. So now of course I'm going to go for the earthquake in case he switches out, which is in fact what he decides to do. He goes into Zekrom, which by no means is ever going to want to have to switch in on an earthquake. This is going to take some big damage right here. So that's Zekrom out of the equation, and I do like to see that. So now he's gonna have to figure out what he's gonna send in on this glass core, and he's gonna have to think fast, because the more turns he wastes, the more I tear through this guy's team. So you know, this is definitely a time for him to be real careful with what moves he makes. So anyways, I'm going to follow up with another earthquake here because it's a stab type attack, and I want to ensure the most damage possible, especially against these legendary Pokemon which have really good stats. So unfortunately he goes for a future sight, which will mean that I will die soon, although it's definitely going to prolong the process. So I'm going to get a couple of turns to deal some big damage on this guy's team, and I probably will be able to take at least 1 or 2 more Pokemon down with me before I inevitably go down to the combination of future sight and whatever attack his Pokemon Trout, because this Gliscor doesn't have the best speed stat. I mean, even at max, it has a base speed stat of 95, and mine doesn't really have the most speed investment, so it's not guaranteed to outspeed everything here, like this Koraidon right here, which gets the jump and is able to go for a flamethrower. And that's actually definitely an interesting move, because with the sunlight he's gonna get basically a stab multiplier on that, although I don't know why he went for a flamethrower instead of a physical move. I actually don't know what would have done more, because this Gliscor does actually have special defense investment. However, it's a lot more physically bulky for the most part. So anyways, now he goes into his Zygarde here, and this is by far his best Pokemon, and you'll see later on in this battle that this is actually almost unkillable. It's ridiculously overpowered. This thing should not be allowed, and that's definitely one of the downsides here of Rorian Legacy, because a lot of the Pokemon are bugged, like this Zygarde here, which you will see shortly what I'm talking about. So anyways, he goes for a max Whirlwind here, which is actually not enough to take me out. However, the future sight combined with that does finish the job. So that's the end of Gliscor. I will say definitely has satisfied me though. It's taking out the Mewtwo, the Koraidon, the Zekrom. That's definitely a good trade-off. One regular Pokemon for 3 of his box art legendary Pokemon. So anyways, now I'm going to go into Tangrowth, which just seems to be a great check for Zygarde, because I resist his ground type attacks and I should be able to tank his Outrage for the most part. So anyways, I started to decide here, because I actually, for some reason, I kept thinking that Max Vermin might actually be a flying type attack, and I was like, is this actually really the best idea? But Max Vermin is just what they call the dragon type stab. I'm not sure why it's called Vermin, but that definitely was a bit confusing for me. So anyways, I hit him with the sleep powder, and that will definitely subdue him for his next few turns of Dynamax. And now, of course, I'm going to go for a knockoff to terminate his Sawsbuck Coffee, because that is definitely a problem. I don't want this guy getting any more speed than he needs to have, so taking care of that will definitely take us a long way. So anyways, now he is no longer going to be using his Dynamax. However, I did see a hint there for his Power Construct, which is not good, because it's only supposed to activate 1 time if I'm correct. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's supposed to be a multi activation type of thing. So anyways, he's gonna take some chip damage from the Rocky Helmet, and this rock tome right here is gonna lower his speed. However, because the Power Construct is bugged, he's gonna get another round of healing from that, because he was brought low enough to where it activated, and that's gonna suck, because he's gonna be back where he started, other than the Dynamax, and my Tangrowth is basically a yellow HP now. So anyways, now I probably want to switch out on this guy. I definitely don't want to stay in. The good thing is we have taken away his speed boost, which means that I'm pretty sure a good amount of my Pokemon should be able to now outspeed this again, including the Manectric, which is going to be an essential, because I was thinking if I sack the Tapu Fini right here, then Manectric should be able to come in and hit him with a hidden Power Ice, which should be enough to one-shot him. I'd like to think after this point. Although, because he hits himself with confusion, he's gonna reactivate the power construct and bring himself back to full HP. This is seriously, ridiculously broken. This should not be allowed. I don't know why this is even a thing in this game, because like you have to one-shot this to kill it, and that's kind of sad. So anyways, now I'm gonna hit him with the Nature's Madness once again, just to bring him close to half HP. And in this situation, it's actually a good thing it doesn't do enough to bring him to yellow, because if it did, then he would get his power construct. So I brought him low enough where I'm thinking, well, now technically Sizer should be able to come in, because he went for a camouflage, he copied my fairy typing, so Sizer's bullet punch should be able to hit really hard from the choice band and the stab and technician and all of that. So you know, that's why I decided to go for the switch. And if he didn't go for the camouflage, Manectric probably would have been the man for the job, because clearly I don't actually think he has Earthquake on this, because he probably would have revealed it earlier if he did have it. And he goes for an extreme speed, which is probably his coverage options. So now I'm going to go for the bullet punch. Now partly it was actually not a great move on my part. I was confident that Sizer would be able to finish him off, but actually Zygarde is bulky enough to where it can actually withstand the bullet punch. And of course we're gonna have to go through this same power construct animation. I hate to see it, but he's gonna regenerate all that HP. But I mean, that definitely tells me next time I need to go back into Tapu Fini, hit him with the Nature's Madness to bring it just low enough to where Sizer can come in. Then I'm going to go for the Dynamax and finish him off with the Max Steel Spike, as long as he doesn't switch out. So anyways, I just hope that this plan goes correctly, because if we don't take care of it now, we're definitely not going to be able to take care of this Zygarde, other than hoping he runs out of PP in his moves, because Tangrowth should be able to actually finish this guy off. Because it basically walls out the Zygarde. However, you know, I can't really do that forever. So anyways, now I'm going to hit him with the Nature's Madness. He's going to go for a camouflage and transform into a fairy type. But yeah, like I said, the strategy would be, at least if I get this to be the last Pokemon he has, if he switches out on the Dynamax, then I'll use Tangrowth. I'll take a couple of his hits, then I'll put him to sleep, switch out, regenerate back to HP, bring it back in. I also have Giga Drain as a tool to recover the HP, and eventually he's gonna run out of a PP, and I don't know what would happen then. He'll probably start struggling, but if he gets passive recovery from the power construct, then I don't think it'd actually be killable and he would win. But you would like to think that would work. But anyways, the good thing is he doesn't switch out here, and the Max Steel Spike gets the outspeed and is enough to KO. Because if he outspent me and went for a camouflage, that would definitely lead to some pretty bad problems. So anyways, we experienced the second bug of this game that I found in just this one battle alone after not playing for a long time, which is whatever this bug is. So I guess it must have something to do with choice items, because I think I've seen this before, and Sizer sometimes does get bugged because the choice band, I don't even know why it necessarily happens, but it'll start struggling. So anyways, we're taking some pretty bad recall damage here, and we go back to standard form, which is not good, because ideally I want to retain as much HP as I can with Sizer. And in legitimacy, this Tapu Koko here is actually quite a big problem, because it actually has a pretty good matchup against most of my team. I mean, my Manectric has a pretty neutral matchup with it, but I can only really hit him with Overheat. He can hit me really hard with Nature's Madness, and then he can finish me off with Dazzling Gleam. Whereas my Overheat is only like a one-time use, because I get the special attack drop, and he has Roost on this too, so he can just roost off all the damages. So anyways, here I'm going to go for a Wall Switch, because I'm trying to pivot out into Tangrowth, so I can put this guy asleep, or maybe even just get a Rock Tomb off, so I can drop his speed a stage or two. So, you know, then I can ensure my Tapu Fini actually gets the jump on this Tapu Koko. So anyways, he goes for a Roost here, which is not a fun thing to see, and I actually make the mistake here of going for the Sleep Powder. It's not going to work against Tapu Koko because of his Electric Surge, and with Electric Terrain, you specifically can't fall asleep. So, you know, that's definitely not a fun thing. So anyways, now Sizer's going to come back in. I'm going to hit him with the Bullet Punch, because, I mean, the plan here is, if I hit him with enough damage with this Bullet Punch, then Manectric should be able to come in and finish him off with an overheat. So the bullet punch does do some really good damage right there. He goes for the fly, which is great because that means now I can switch out into Manectric, hit him with the intimidate, keep Zygarde alive, and repeat if I need to. So if I need to, I'll just pivot back out with wall switch, bring Zygarde back in, and Manectric is guaranteed to win this game. So now all I have to do is just hope that overheat doesn't miss, and I don't think it has a miss chance, but you know, I don't know, I haven't really used overheat enough to be able to tell you. So anyways, the overheat does connect, and it is of course enough to finish off the Tapu Koko. So that right there is GG.